Starting to lose my mind, guys. I'm telling you, I am going crazy here. I feel like that gif of the guy pulling out his hair. That's how I feel right now. So, before we get into the breakdown of this 5-game slate, we got to look back at my lineup here from tonight. So right now, in the cash, but let me just tell you the sequence of events, all right? And I mean it, right? I am literally losing my mind. Okay, so you guys know my just horrific luck so far. 3 DNPs on the first 5 main slates, as well as 2 random injuries. Just the worst possible luck ever, right? So, we're coming up to lock of the Boston game. And still no starters, right? Now, we knew Hauser got banged up. We knew Matt Ryan got banged up. And Cabangeli dislocated his finger, but he played through it. So, I have Cabangeli as a core play. Been all over Cabangeli. And we still don't know starters. We're coming up to 10 minutes before lock. Still no starters. Coming up to 5 minutes before lock. Still no starters. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I've just had the worst possible DNP luck. If I get a Cabangeli DNP right now, I am going to go crazy, right? I can't take another DNP, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just swap to Terry Taylor. We already got the Pacer starters. I'm just going to go there. So it's locked. Cabangeli in, of course. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is all right. Terry Taylor, just match them. We're fine, right? I've been all over Cabangeli, just could not take another DNP. Go to Terry Taylor. He's crushing it, guys. In the first half, he is smashing. I'm like, yes, hey, finally not the worst possible luck known to man. Finally. And you want to know what happens? Oh, the Pacers and the Pistons. Starters pulled in like early on in the third quarter. No way is Terry Taylor coming back. Nah. Played a couple minutes in the second half. Right to the bench. Get some popcorn. Watch the rest of the game. Enjoy the game for Terry Taylor. But massive chalk Cabangeli, who I was all over and just couldn't risk the DNP. A 50 bomb at high ownership. Completely bury me. If I had Cabangeli here right now instead of Terry Taylor, I could be looking at the big money. But no way, right? Not for me. Every single possible piece of bad luck just goes my way. So again, I'm losing my mind here. But let's go over the rest of my lineup. So Charlie Moore, I mean, that first half, was out of her bad. He salvaged that big time in the fourth quarter. Just a min-price starting point guard, right? We got the confirmation starters before lock. Cam Thomas got a little bit unlucky here. Was on pace for an even bigger day. Massive blowout. No way is he playing the fourth quarter. He's done early. Call it a day early. Get the knee pads on. Get some ice for Cam Thomas. He's not seeing any more of the fourth. Nah, massive blowout. Oh, how about this, too? Oh, we're not done. Orlando Robinson has started every game so far for the Heat. 4 games, 4 Orlando Robinson starts. Been playing mid-20s minutes, been averaging about a point per minute. Again, very, very good value on the slate. The reason he was 65% owned in high stakes. So, how about a minute after lock? No, he's not in the starting lineup. No way. Dust off the absolute scrubs and give them the start. Robinson plays 10 minutes. Luckily, he didn't get a DNP. Only plays 10 minutes. Previous 4 games when he's in the starting lineup, mid-20s minutes. And then also, I pivot to Travion Williams because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play for all these Boston guys to be out. Play Travion Williams, and like I said, Cabangeli in. And then Duren, I mean, I talked about this pretty heavily on Patreon, how it was either like you basically took a 0 or you overpaid for Duren. So I thought there was enough value to just take the whatever Duren got you. He honestly had a pretty bad game for all those Pistons starters being out. I got a relatively low on McKinley Wright, had a good half, and Scottie Pippen as well. But I'm probably going to get pushed out of the cash here. I mean, again, if I just kept Kabengele, I would be in great shape, but I just couldn't risk taking another DNP. And yeah, so that's what I tell you guys. Here, I'm going to pull out all my hair by the end of the night. Going crazy. Again, right now we're in the cash. I don't know if this is going to hold. We'll see. Prize picks, though, 3 for 3 so far on the day. Looking for the sweep. If Ish Wainwright can maybe play a couple more minutes, plays like 10 first half minutes. Like, can these coaches stop running 15-man rotations? Play your main guys and play them a good chunk of minutes, right? That's good experience. 14 guys. We got to play 14 guys every single game for Phoenix. All right, enough of that, guys. Let's talk about this 5-game slate. But I did have to get that out. I did have to get that tilt out. Just, again, last few days, DNPs, and I pivot off of Kabengele, who I think there's a chance of a DNP, ends up playing, starts. No bad luck. No bad luck tomorrow, please. All right, Washington, New Orleans. So, Washington, Vernon Carey, like, is he serious with that last game? Everyone plays him game 1, does nothing. Game 2, massive double-double, multiple steals and blocks, an absolute smash. 5.8K. I mean, if we get, close to 20 minutes from him, I think he's a fair value. Johnny Davis right now, nothing more than contrarian value play, or contrarian spend up, I should say. He has been horrible shooting the ball with the first couple of games. Isaiah Todd started last game, but, they've kind of been spreading out the minutes outside of Davis. Ignike has been playing the backup center position. I can keep an eye on starters. Whoever starts is playable for Washington, but not a team I'm super excited about. On the Pelican side, so this is a team where we can definitely get some value, and they've had some pretty bad injury luck. Dyson Daniels injured, EJ Liddell injured, and then Murphy and Najee Marshall, as well as Jose Alvarado, expected to be out. So, yeah, they're going to be relatively thin. We'll keep eyeing starters, but I would assume Jared Harper, probably going to be one of their go-to guys, 6.1K, looks pretty good. You had Jones start at the 5 last game, Tyreek Jones. If he starts at 4.9K, that looks pretty decent. Petty's been in the rotation. Really just kind of comes down to starters here. Because they've kind of switched the starters up the first couple games, so keep an eye on it. But again, the main guy's not expected to play. Definitely a team we can get some value here. Like I said, just monitor the starting lineup. Toronto and Utah. So back-to-back here for Toronto. Maybe a little bit of DNP risk for the main guys if you do not get starters before lock. Armani Brooks is going to come out the bench way too pricey. Again, we took his under on the PRA that hit pretty easily. Banton, probably the guy I like the best. Toronto's running tight rotations. He's a guy that has triple-double upside, to be honest. He's running the point. I think he looks pretty good, assuming he plays. Koloko, I think, is a fair play. Him and DJ Wilson, the two bigs in the offense, both decent point-per-minute guys. Koloko had a pretty bad game today, but both those guys definitely playable. Harper's been starting the last couple games, 5.4K. I think he's just kind of like a fair value play for me. And then Doughton's also been starting 6.4, also kind of just there. On the Utah side, I'm tired of this team too. Stop switching the starting lineup every game. Just play the same starters. So Jared Butler shot like 3 of 33, and that's not an over-exaggeration last game. It was almost that. I think it was actually 3 of 22, but just horrible shooting. However, the usage was there. Assuming he continues to start, I think he looks really good there in the mid-range. And then just keep an eye on the other starter. Like whoever starts the 5, I like. Unless it's Cockburn, he's too expensive. You had Thunder Burke. We had some wild names here who started last game. Bokolo got the DNP. He was in street clothes. Didn't get the news till after lock. The answer is yes, I had him. Also, Bomaro started last couple games. He continues to start. That's fine at 4.7. Like I said, keep an eye on the starting lineups. Juzeg also started last game. He's only 4.5. Sacramento and OKC. So Keita got injured last game. The answer is yes. He was in my lineup. So we'll see if he plays. If he plays, like him. If not, it was Sestina that checked in for him. So if he starts the flatman price, you can look there. Keegan Murray, assuming he plays, I think stands out as one of the safer spend ups. He's just been playing huge minutes so far for Sacramento. So he looks pretty good. And then you got some other cheap starters. Keon Ellis. Yes, Frankie Ferrari. That is a real person. I'm not making that up. And Rodin are all guys that have been playing some pretty solid minutes there in the starting lineup. They all look good. And like I said, if Keita doesn't start, keep an eye on who starts at the 5 there. On the Thunder side, we'll see if Josh Giddey's playing in this game. I'm surprised he's actually played so many games so far. So again, we'll monitor that. Holmgren had a solid game last game. Went for 16, 10, 2, and 2. Obviously, a guy that can kind of stuff the stat sheet. No issue paying up for him. If Giddey plays, I like him. If Giddey misses, we have more guys up in the mid-range. Like, Williams would look a little bit better. JRE started last game. If he starts again, definitely someone we can look to. Miami, just keep an eye on the starting lineup. Like, Highsmith and Robinson have started the last 4 games. I take the Highsmith over on Prize Picks. I'm Robinson. I'm all over for DraftKings. Finally, different starting lineup. Robinson to the bench, Highsmith DNP. Okay. So, like I said, keep an eye on this news. You had like Bryce Hamilton pick up the start. The scrubs basically started. So, if they start again, you're going to have some cheap Miami value. If not, then like guys like Highsmith, Robinson look good. Javonte Smart, assuming he continues to start as well. Yurtseven and Jovic were both out last game. I assume they're both going to be out again. So another situation where it's kind of like keep an eye on starting lineups. Philadelphia, Isaiah Joe got banged up last game. We'll see if he's going to be available. Paul Reed should be out for the rest of the Summer League. Springer 9.5, looks okay, but I think Winston a little bit easier to get to there at 6.5. I think he looks pretty good. Bass has been starting at the 5, 7, 8. I think that's a fine play. Ellison started last game, not a great point per minute guy, but he has only 4.6K. And finally, Denver and the Clippers. They've been giving the young guys run. Braun, Watson, Gillespie have all been playing about 30 minutes a game, all firmly in play. Gillespie probably the guy at the highest floor. Kamagate also started last game. He's 7.4K. If he starts again, a little bit of interest there. Mitchell started the first couple games. He's 4.9. Fine value. Don't really know if I'm looking to much off the bench. It was, I think, Jack White. Jack White did a decent game off the bench, but don't know if I'm looking to go there. And finally, the Clippers. So it is back-to-back. So I'll say, again, there's potential rest spot here. But assuming all the main guys play, I think, the guards once again look good. Boston, Scrub, Preston. Expect all these guys to probably play mid-20s minutes. Boston probably got the highest ceiling. Scrub and Preston a little bit easier to get to. Diabate has had a pretty solid Summer League so far. He's only 6'8". Again, an energy big that can stretch the floor, block some shots. No issue going there. Brantley has started the first couple games. If he continues to start at only 4.2, I think that's a pretty solid value. And Perry's got some decent run off the bench, but a little bit pricey there at 5.5. So that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, guys, if you are looking for those, the more in-depth content, for the updates, the starting lineups, projected starters, Brantley, and all that stuff's over on Patreon. Again, I'm hoping to avoid DNPs and injuries for this slate. But you can tell, right, over the last couple of days, I am literally losing my mind. But yeah, like I said, that'll wrap it up. Again, appreciate you guys as always for watching. Really, really do. If you do enjoy, the tilts and all that and the breakdowns, just make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next video.